Welcome to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy, and I'm here today with organizers of the Never Give Up 5K Run Walk. I've got Peggy Havness and also Jewel Wacker, and they're going to talk a little bit about a run that's coming up at the end of August, and also we're going to talk a little bit about the organization. And I think we're going to start with Peggy first.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about the background of this organization.
Well, the background of the organization really started with the death of my son 3.5 years ago. We didn't get the organization off the ground right away, but it's been work in progress. So that's kind of where it started. But with my son's death, we also realized that there was a big problem in the community because there are more suicides out there than what we realize.
Mm-hmm. Now, Peggy, I know that it is difficult for you to talk about this, but how long ago did Kyle pass away?
He died 3.5 years ago, and he was suffering with, an undiagnosed mental illness. Depression is, our best guess, and we were working with him, on that. Mm-hmm. And, like others in our communities too, there's just undiagnosed mental illnesses that could potentially save their life if we could diagnose them in time. Mm-hmm.
So what you're really working on with this event that is coming up, and also with the organization, is really to make people aware of suicide awareness, and especially in the rural communities, because it's something that is probably happening more often than we know. But because we're in a rural area, we don't hear about it as much.
Right. Suicide is a leading cause of death in Minnesota for young people aged 15 to 35. And it's only second comparable to accidents, and this is according to the Minnesota Department of Health 2013. And it does affect Minnesota more than other states, and we don't really know why, but what we want to do is raise awareness, through the organization, to provide educational resources for the schools so that we can educate our youth. And we want to involve the communities. So we, with the Christopher Benz Foundation, they're all about connecting communities for suicide awareness. And, so with them and all of our 5K, we are hoping that we can connect all of, the communities around us.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, so tell us a little bit about it. So you are from the New York Mills area, correct?
I used to live in the New York Mills area. Kyle has a lot of family there. My son has a lot of family there. And there's just such a great support system with the school and the family members. So Kyle and we lived in Monaga area. Okay. But with the support system, it's just a perfect place to start.
Okay, and the support system, like you said, it isn't just about the family support system, but it's the community. It takes a community, and thus we have the run walk and getting information out to schools and organizations that especially deal with young people.
Correct. Yeah, it's to get the word out so everybody can work together.
All right.
And if you don't have a support system, you're really just on the ground running by yourself. So we want to just kind of get everybody involved that we can.
All right. I'm here today with Peggy Havness and also Jewel Wacker, and we're talking about the Never Give Up Walk Run, the organization, the Christopher Benz Foundation, which is also part of this, and suicide awareness. And we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll hear more about the event coming up at the end of the month, the Never Give Up Walk Run, next on Hometown Happenings. Welcome back to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy, here today with Peggy Havness and Jewel Wacker, and we're talking about the Never Give Up Walk Run 5K, which is coming up at the end of the month. Prior to the break, we were talking to Peggy and talking about how the run walk came to be and how she is working with suicide awareness, which is actually what the run walk is all about, awareness. And it goes back to your son, Kyle. Tell us a little bit more about Kyle and what school he went to. And I know it's difficult, and I'm glad that you're here today. But that's what this is all about: raising awareness, and it is a very personal thing for you. Yeah,
Kyle Kenyon would have graduated from Monaga in 2013. It's very difficult to talk about when we start talking personal, when we start mentioning names. It's very hurtful, but we do want to raise awareness, for suicide. So hopefully we can prevent anybody else from having to go through this.
Mm-hmm. And raising awareness, and maybe even, somebody out there right now with this, a child who may be going through something right now. And did you really realize that? Kyle was contemplating this, so did you see sign? Is it a 2020, afterthoughts that, okay, these were the signs, and had I known, had something like this been out there, I would have known? Yeah,
I think a little bit of education and resources along the way would have helped us out a lot with Kyle. There was a lot of stuff going on, but we didn't connect the dots. There was not enough education out there for us, and we want other people to know that there are resources out there, there is education out there, and there are things that we can do. Suicide is preventable if we can diagnose them correctly. Okay. So I do believe it's preventable, and I think we could have saved Kyle.
Mm-hmm. Peggy, I know it's difficult for you, and I thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah. And, this is what it all amounts to, is because this is a very personal thing, and it's a very, it's unfortunately something that happens. And, one of the things is to get that number out there for the suicide prevention lifeline, and we will have that here throughout the program here, 1-800-273-TALK, that's 8255, 1-800-273-TALK, and we're talking with folks from the Never Give Up organization. They're sponsoring a 5K along with the Christopher Benz Foundation, and also joining me today is Jewel Wacker, and one of the organizers of the event as well, raising efforts and funds for suicide awareness and prevention education. So, Jewel, tell us a little bit more about this actual run walk that's coming up.
Well, it started in New York Mills last year, and we got more than expected last year. The support in the community was absolutely incredible. So we're really shooting for the moon this year. This year we moved it to Wadena, and that's part of the community's support. We're going to move it from town to town. We have not decided on next year's town yet, so groups need to show up and tell us they want us in their town.
All right. So ideally, you would like to get groups of people to come, maybe the folks from last year to come on over to Wadena and kind of keep carrying it forward into the next town and the next community, as you'd like to carry the suicide awareness message out there too.
Definitely. Last year, the New York Mills School introduced an awesome program. It's called the Top 20, which we did help rewrite part of that to support suicide awareness. And we want to make sure that the Mills School can keep that program going. So that is why 10% of the proceeds are going back to Mills, whereas 90% will go to Wadena in hopes that they can introduce an awesome program like this.
All right, so that's very cool, raising money to help educate those preventable education, suicide awareness. So let's talk more about the specific event, the Never Give Up 5K Run Walk. Tell us all about the registration and the start time and how it gets going that morning.
August 29th, and registration starts at 8 o'clock. It's $10 for adults, $5 for 15 and under, free for 5 and under. And we're hoping people show up with groups. We have some great sponsors this year. We have CMS Farms of New York Mills and RW Stucco is two of the really good sponsors. West Central Telephone, Toby Pearson Associates also are great sponsors. So we've been out there, and they're just been wonderful, the support.
All right. So very good. And you do have a Facebook page as well if people want to find out more information. Are people able to register online too?
They can go online to the Christopher Benz Foundation. We have a link on there. And that is ChristopherBenz.org.
Okay, yeah, ChristopherBenzFoundation.org. So you can go there and register. If you want to find out more information about Never Give Up 5K or the Christopher Benz Foundation and how you can help prevent suicides, you can also go to the website. You can also contact, I'm sure, Peggy or Jewel or Eventbrite.
Eventbrite. You can go right to our Facebook page, and which is facebook.com/Never Give Up Suicide Support, and it's pinned to the top. You can register right there at Eventbrite.
All right. Well, good luck with this event happening in Wadena this year on August 29th. And I want to thank you, Peggy and Jewel, for coming in and sharing this information with us. And for TV3 Hometown Happening, I'm Carol McCarthy.